documentary called Mentally Why Do People Commit Crime.
In this documentary, we're going to be visiting Bethlem Royal Hospital and interviewing Dr. Vicoria Walker on the life of Anna Cavan.
Anna Cavan was an artist and writer who struggled with drug abuse and depression.
Anna allegedly committed crimes as a result of this.
Firstly, we're going to be talking about our experiences at Bethlem Royal Hospital.
A few weeks ago, we went to Bethlem Royal Hospital,
Which is a psychiatric hospital in Croydon for people with mental health issues. So we got the train to West Ham and then got off the train and got a cab to the place because we actually didn't know really how to get there.
Yeah.
And by train, we had to go, because it was in Croydon, there wasn't like a direct
train.
Yeah, so it would have taken like over 2 hours, so we
Yeah.
thought, no. So when we got there, we was actually quite surprised at how nice it was, because I mean the weather was typical, like, it
Yeah,
was
it was
scary
horrible.
weather, it was scary weather. So we're walking around and it was quite creepy, I
Yeah.
thought, because we was walking around and it was like raining, but it weren't raining, it was like the cold, kind of like wet, like just raining, and it
Yeah.
was all,
Well, we got out the cab, and the first thing we saw was actually a patient.
Oh my
at the
god, yeah,
hospital.
like they came zooming out of the
Yeah.
doors as well, so we was
And we
bit
didn't
on edge from it.
expect to see
No. anyone
a
really.
patient.
No.
So we was really shocked to see that, and then we made
Yeah.
our raid round to the museum, which is like where the public goes for free, and they have all like they have an art gallery and then things from the asylum in like years
like
back.
the olden
Yeah,
days,
in
yeah.
like the olden days. And it was actually good in there.
I thought it was quite good in there. There was a lot of like there was one point and there was a door from like what the old rooms used to look
Yeah, and
like.
they had like what they'd wear.
Yeah.
That was really good.
How they treat them, which was all like different chemicals and like acids and things like that. So that was quite scary actually. Like, and then you'd hear there was a woman who had been like recorded. I don't know, I can't remember if it was voice recorded. Remember where the doors were and we were sitting in there?
Yeah.
And you was hearing like a recording of either a woman or someone reading her like diary entry, and it was actually really sad, like what they were saying.
On our way to the museum, we actually explored more and went to places where we wasn't actually allowed to go. So we saw the patients like where they stay, and it was all caged up. Like, that was the scariest bit,
I think that was quite, it made me a little bit sad because I thought, imagine having to, like you saw all of, so there was like a block of where they would stay, the patients, and there was bars on the windows and everything like that, and then off of the back of this building would be like
a playground.
it looked like a playground in school. It was like there was bars going up, but not bars, it was like the fencing going up, and it was all metal, so no one can get out of there. But I felt like we was looking in on, like, obviously we didn't see anyone in there, but I felt like I was looking into what a zoo would be like. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Overall, my experience was very shocking, and I didn't expect it to be like it was. And I also felt quite unsafe there, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. But it was interesting, and I wouldn't say I'd go there again,
oh no.
but yeah, it's
No.
interesting, and I enjoyed it.
To be honest, I couldn't wait to get out of there, if I'm honest with you, because I did feel really uneasy. And like even when we walked past some people and they was like, what are you doing? Do you
Oh,
do you
yeah.
remember that? And I felt quite uneasy then. I thought, oh my god. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was a weird feeling. It was really interesting because we went to obviously a talk about Anna Cavan, which was really, that was actually quite interesting about her life.
Yeah.
And her work and things like that, so that was good. But overall, I thought it was a long day, but it was really interesting, but I don't think I would go back unless I had to.
So my name is Dr. Victoria Walker. I'm a literary scholar, so I teach English literature, and my major research is on the writer Anna Cavan, and also generally on women's literary representations of psychiatric treatment in the 20th century. So partly my interest in Cavan came from the fact that she had been very neglected as a writer, and it felt like she needed more attention. I was really interested in how women particularly represent the experiences of mental health, mental illness and psychiatric treatment as well. And so I was really drawn to her when I read her stories in Asylum Peace. I felt like she wrote about those experiences in a way that nobody else had experienced it. Okay, so that is a big question. I think a lot of people, when they've talked about her biography, have stressed her difficult childhood. She was from a very, or at least a reasonably wealthy family at the beginning of the 20th century, and the way that usually worked was children were sent away to boarding school very young. They didn't spend much time with their parents. So there's been a lot of stress put on the fact that she didn't spend much time with her parents. She was an only child, she was lonely. When she writes about the experience of childhood, you get the sense of sort of very isolated, neglected feeling children. So could that have contributed to experiences of mental health? We know that mental health is a sort of combination of things that happen and genetics, things that are sort of inside you. We also know that her father committed suicide, so it's possible there was some hereditary predisposition towards depression. So, I mean, those are my best guesses, but I don't think we can ever really know. Yeah, she basically suffered from severe depression, as far as we know, throughout her adult life. So she did have various asylum incarcerations. But as I was saying earlier in my talk, she was also a heroin addict, and she felt that there were no antidepressants available at the time that she was experiencing depression. So she felt that the heroin sort of helped her to deal with those difficult mental health problems. So there are points where she had suicide attempts throughout her life, pretty much. And other points where perhaps it was more under control. I don't think so. There have been claims made in the biographies that she may have run somebody over and killed them. I've done quite a lot of research and I haven't been able to find any evidence for that. We do know that she wrote a story, a fictional story, about somebody who does knock someone over and kill them. So I don't think that that actually happened. So as far as I know, she didn't have any sort of legal criminal issues from her depression. I guess the only thing is that she was a registered heroin addict from the 1960s. So before the 1960s, there wasn't a lot of regulation around the taking of that type of drug. And so later, they do try to regulate that more, and she has to be a registered heroin addict. Nowadays, again, I guess what I'm trying to point towards is the connection between drug use and criminality. Because of who she was and how she accessed her heroin, she didn't have to sort of commit crime in order to take it. She was a registered addict, so she was sort of legally taking it. But she did stockpile a lot of heroin in her house, and I'm not sure that that was legal.